Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. Really nice to see you again. And today we are going to talk about the new material. It is about analytical exposition. This is kind of a text we need to talk about today. And let's go straight on to the next slide. Okay, first we need to know about the definition. Yeah, analytical exposition is a text that elaborates the writer's idea about the phenomenon surrounding. So it is really common for us to find a certain phenomenon, certain a controversy around us. By making or by arranging this analytical exposition, it means that we need to support by giving some analysis about that matter. Jadi kita memberikan semacam supporting argument gitu kan ya terhadap suatu phenomenon. Okay, let's go to the next slide. And then here is the social function. Social function is to persuade. Jadi tujuannya adalah untuk persuade, mempengaruhi gitu ya, mempengaruhi the reader that the idea is an important matter and to analyze the topic that the thesis or the opinion is correct by developing an argument to support it, as what I said before. When we encounter certain phenomenon and we support this, so we can categorize this into analytical exposition. Jadi ada suatu kasus, ada suatu kontroversi dan kita memberikan argumen ya, menuangkan argumen kita dalam sebuah tulisan, mungkin itu bisa disebut sebagai sebuah analytical exposition. Ya, so the social function here is to persuade, untuk mengajak gitu ya, mengajak si pembaca bahwasannya apa yang terjadi gitu kan ya, itu dilihat dari sudut pandang si penulis baik pro ataupun kontra gitu ya. Oke, kita lihat pada slide berikutnya. Okay, so right here is the language features. So whenever you are going to compose this kind of text, maybe it's better for you to consider this aspect ya, this language features. The first one is using a relational process ya. Previous meeting we've talked about relative clause. Kemarin saya memberikan tentang materi slide tentang relative clause ya, ada hubungannya dengan materi hari ini. Kemudian using internal conjunction, conjunction kata hubung ya, kemudian ada causal conjunction menunjukkan sebab akibat, kemudian ada simple present. This is really familiar with you. Then using component complex ya. Then the last one is use word that link the argument, such as firstly. So it's like sequencing ya. Jadi ini semacam sequencing menunjukkan pertama, kedua dan berikutnya. And also reasoning through causal conjunction, such as in addition, furthermore, however, therefore. So it's like showing the consequences. Jadi ada sequences ya, sequences itu setelah ini gitu ya, atau firstly, secondly gitu kan ya. Tapi kalau consequences di sini adalah jika kita melakukan ini ada akibatnya seperti ini. So we need to present the consequence that might happen by doing so. Oke, kemudian kita lanjutkan pada slide berikutnya. And then about the generic structure ya, bentuknya secara umum ya, we got three main parts in the analytical exposition. And the first one is thesis ya. Jadi yang pertama adalah thesis. So I think I need to give some note here. So thesis here ya. The explanation here is introducing the topic and indicating the writer's point of view. So you need to menggarisbawahi writer's point of view. Kenapa di sini disebut exposition, analytical exposition, karena di sini sudut pandang dari si penulis ini sangat sangat dominan gitu kan ya. Nah, kemudian di situ we can separate them into position ya. Position here ya, position here introduce and indicates the writer position of point of view. Jadi di sini position menunjukkan bahwasannya si penulis ini condong terhadap sudut pandangnya tertentu, apakah pro atau kontra terhadap suatu kasus. Kemudian di sini juga ada yang disebut dengan preview. Setelah memberikan position, biasanya si penulis akan menunjukkan preview. ya. Preview ini berarti memberikan sedikit gambaran tentang kasus yang akan dibicarakan gitu kan ya. Sehingga biasanya dalam bentuk paragraf pertama isinya adalah position and also preview. Preview means to outline ya. Jadi preview ini adalah outline. Karena paragraf pertama biasanya memberikan gambaran secara umum atau memberikan outline ya, the main argument to be presented. Nah, kemudian setelah tesis ini kita akan masuk ke arguments. Arguments I think I don't need to explained more about argument ya. Argumen itu ya apa ya? Semacam pendapat ya untuk mendukung terhadap suatu tesis gitu kan ya. Nah, di sini argumen itu juga dijelaskan yaitu explaining the argument to support the writer's position. Di sini tujuannya adalah mendukung gitu. The number of the argument may vary actually ya. So you may give one main argument, two arguments or more ya. Tetapi but each argument must be supported by evidence. So this is the strength ya. Jadi ini yang membuatnya kuat ya, karena kita menunjukkan adanya evidence, bukti ya, and also explanation ya. Jadi argumen itu yang pertama di situ adalah kita menunjukkan ya poinnya apa ya, kemudian kita akan mengelaborasi. Caranya mengelaborasi bagaimana ya, tadi contohnya dengan memberikan evidence gitu kan ya. The more evidence it's better gitu kan ya, then just giving the reasoning, hanya memberikan alasan saja tanpa adanya sebuah evidence. Kemudian yang terakhir adalah reiteration. Right here, reiteration means restate ya, restate the writer's point of view ya, to strengthen ya the thesis. Jadi reiteration just like was a conclusion ya, semacam kesimpulan ya, yang yang sum up ya the whole paragraph previously given to you. Jadi tadi ada paragraf 1, paragraf 2 gitu kan ya. Nah, itu di sum up ya, atau diringkas ya, dan itu yang disebut dengan reiteration ya, rewrites ya, menulis kembali tetapi in shorter form, in shorter sentence or paragraph ya. And then right here for the language features atau kebahasaan ya, unsur kebahasaan yang pertama adalah using present tense ya. Present tense means using the verb one ya. Kita menggunakan verb 1. Ini sudah sudah gamblang sekali ya, selalu dijelaskan ya, karena penggunaan the simple present tense itu memang yang paling sering. So we need to use the verb one here ya, verb one or verb s ya. Kemudian contohnya di situ adalah in my opinion elementary school teacher works hard. Jadi di sini ada penanda bahwasannya si penulis mendukung sebuah thesis statement, yaitu dengan ditunjukkan adanya in my opinion ya. Kemudian English is the world most important language ya. Ini juga walaupun tidak kentara ya, menunjukkan in my opinion ya, menurut pendapat saya gitu kan ya, tapi tetap di sini si penulis menunjukkan jelas bahwasannya dia mendukung thesis statement tersebut. Kemudian kita juga mengenal adanya connectors right here. Connectors penghubung ya, to mention several parts of argument. For example is just firstly, secondly ya, atau kita tadi sebut sebagai sequencing ya, susunannya ya. Oke, kemudian furthermore ya, kemudian ada moreover ya, terlebih lagi, dan lain sebagainya yang menunjukkan adanya sequencing. Oke, kemudian kita lihat pada slide berikutnya. We also find some language features just like summarizing ya, to show the summarizing, to show the writer is summing up ya, menunjukkan bahwa itu adalah sebuah ringkasan dengan mengatakan in short ya, singkatnya, in a word gitu kan ya, in a brief atau to sum up. Kemudian juga ada concluding ya, in conclusion, on the whole, altogether, in all. So I think this part is quite easy. I don't need to explain furthermore about this part. And let's go to the next slide. And then right here, the next language features that you may find in analytical exposition is emotive words, means the words that shows the emotion of the writers. For example, I'm worried of his safety. It means that the writer here worries about certain situation, and the second one is she felt in love, blah blah blah. It means that it shows such kind of feeling. And then the next is words that qualify statement. Yeah, to show the quality. For example, probably, usual. It means that was it showing the frequency of certain thing, yeah. And then the last one is words that link the arguments, yeah, as what I mentioned before. Firstly, and then however, therefore, it means that to link, to connect one argument to another, dari satu argumen ke argumen yang lainnya. Jadi kita menggunakan kata hubung tersebut, ya. Okay, next. Okay, so right here you can see the example of this kind of text. Yeah, the title here is "Car should be banned in the city." By seeing this title, actually you see was in the point of view of the writers, yeah, to ban the existence of cars in the city. So this text consisted of three parts. The first one is thesis, the second one is argument, and the last one is reiteration. This is the short text, yeah, that you can analyze its part easily. You can spot the parts or the grammatical features easily. For example, in thesis, you can see cars should be banned in the city as well. As we all know, car create pollution and cause a lot of road deaths and other accidents. So here, actually, the first paragraph outlined the whole content of the text. Jadi teks pada paragraf pertama itu adalah outline dari keseluruhan teks yang akan dia sampaikan pada keseluruhan teks itu. Kemudian the second one is argument. You can see right there, you can see firstly, secondly, thirdly. And all of them, yeah, consisting of each argument, the specific argument that is combined into one paragraph. And the last one is reiteration, yeah. In conclusion, cars should be banned from the city for the reason listed. So the last part of this text is reiterate atau conclude the whole text that mentioned before. Jadi di situ di sum up gitu kan ya, dengan menunjukkan kata in conclusion, intinya atau kesimpulannya. So that's the example of analytical exposition. Jadi itu adalah contoh text analytical exposition. So I hope that my explanation is quite clear about this kind of text. And thank you so much to pay attention to my explanation. See you next time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.